Challenging the conventions of a category isn't done anywhere near enough. Challenging the conventions of the stuffy legal industry? You're kidding, right? Nope. Join me for a fireside chat with the Happy Family Lawyer.
Well, I said, welcome to a small business marketing show where successful small business owners share their souls to take your marketing straight to the lead. Now, here's your host, Mr. Timbo Reid.
G'day, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Australia's #1 marketing show. I'm your host, Timbo Reid. You, so much more importantly, are a motivated business owner ready to crank out some great marketing and build that beautiful business that is so proudly yours. And today is lovingly brought to you by Key Person of Influence, the world's leading business accelerator program for entrepreneurs wanting to become industry thought leaders. And yep, you and I, have a new supporter. Gotta love that. More on them shortly. Hey, big show today, team. I've got a fireside chat with Clarissa Rayward. Love the name Clarissa. It's so Silence of the Lambs. Sorry, Clarissa. I hope you like that film. She owns a Brisbane-based law firm and she's managing to single-handedly change the way lawyers present and build their practices. You are going to love this interview. She's doing some just fantastic marketing. We'll have a quick check-in later in the show in which I've got lots to report, including I've got to thank 19 listeners. Not going to thank them individually. More on that in a minute, plus some exciting news about my marketing coaching package, which I announced a couple of weeks ago. Well, I'll tell you what it is now. It's sold out. Yes, that's right. I will open it up again in the future, but for now, I want to bed down the clients that I have. So that's great news. Plus, I have got an inspiring marketing quote all about the F word. Oh, yes, sirree. Big show today. Let's get stuck right in.
Do you need a speaker for your next conference? Recommend Timbo to your event organiser. Or better still, book him. Tim Reid, that's reid.com.au.
Okay, big news, team. I'll now be doing a second weekly episode. Hope you're excited. I am. Why? Not why am I excited, but why am I doing the new episode? Because I've got a brand new sponsor in the Key Person of Influence program, aka KPI. Oh, I do love a good acronym. Now, I could have squeezed them into my Tuesday episode. However, I've been looking for an opportunity for a while to bring you some more marketing GOLD each week. And here it is. So you can now look forward to a Friday episode as well. You excited? Hope so. Leave a comment in the show notes. More on that later. Now, what is this thing they call KPI? Excellent question. I'll read something from their website, which probably sums it up best. It's a great piece of copy, quite short. They say, quote, every industry has an inner circle of key people of influence. They're known, liked and trusted. They earn more, achieve more and contribute more. If you aren't a key person of influence in your industry, your full-time job is to become one. End quote. See, KPI show you how to do that. They've got a 40-week incubator program, plenty of online resources, and an amazing book, which I'm about to give you a free copy of. You're going to love that. It's an absolute ripper book, by the way. What I'm particularly excited about is that this show has a long association with the KPI guys. I actually did their 40-week incubator 3 years ago. I'm now one of their marketing coaches. And their two founders, Daniel Priestley and Glenn Carlson, have both appeared on this show 2 or 3 years ago. Dan spoke about the program itself and Glenn shared with us how to get more bums on seats, which he is an absolute master of. Plus, I've had a number of mates successfully complete the program, including our very own Darren Finkelstein. You'll learn more about how to become a key person of influence over the coming weeks and months. But for now, here we go. Grab a free hard or audio copy of their Amazon best-selling book over at, write this down, it's a website, keypersonofinfluence.com/Timbo. It's a ripper read, just like me.
Welcome to a small business Business Marketing Show.
Join the Small Business Big Marketing community and have your marketing questions answered by other motivated business owners, including Timbo, over at crankmymarketing.com.
Okay, team, let's get stuck into today's guest. This is a ripper interview. It is with lawyer Clarissa Rayward, okay? Now, right, I want you to hit her up on Twitter. Tell her you heard her on the show. Her Twitter handle, at Clarissa, 1R, 2 S's, Rayward, R-A-Y, Ward, right? Tell her you heard her on the show. Why? Because she's got so much marketing gold to share. I was trying to figure out how to introduce her, and then I went to her website and she's got the best bio. You've got to remember, she's a lawyer. She's meant to be straight and formal and speak very, very well. So this is what she says when introducing herself on her website. On most days, I would describe myself as a happy family lawyer. I love the work that I do and the way in which I am able to do it. I work in Brisbane, Australia, where I operate a busy family law practice, the Brisbane Family Law Centre. I am passionate about relationships. I believe that the most important things, and this is where it gets it's cool copy. I believe the most important things in life are our relationships with others. Remember, this is a lawyer speaking, right? Just want to keep reminding you. I most enjoy working with parents who value their relationships with their children above all else. As a mother, wife, daughter and friend, she should have put lover in there as well. I'm constantly amazed at the impact of my relationships have on me and those around me. I'm a divorce lawyer and I specialise in helping separating families stay out of the family courts and stay friends, as I believe that a divorce can be part of a relationship that we can look back on with some pride. I just want to remind you, this is a lawyer saying this, right? Lawyer, right? My goal is to change the way families experience divorce and separation by changing the way family lawyers practice family law. Wow, you are going to love this. Notepad at the ready, cuppa on the coffee table next to you. I started off by asking Clarissa, what was the scariest thing she's ever done?
Oh, golly. I think probably having a baby. I know that sounds terrible because every woman in the world, or a lot of them, have babies, but for me that was easily one of the most terrifying things I've ever done.
In the lead up? Were you scared or just like on the day?
On the day I was terrified, and there's a whole story that goes there that I won't bore your listeners with. In the lead up I was just in denial, and it was great because it was 9 months of denial.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I had these sort of romantic notions that I'd just go into labour at home and it'd all be wonderful, and that didn't happen for me. And I don't want to talk pregnancy too much, but anyway, the moral to the story is that was by far the most terrifying thing I've ever done.
Was it a big decision for you, being the high-flying lawyer, to go and have a child?
No, I don't think it was a big decision. Like, I love children. I always had in my vision for life that I would have children. What I really didn't plan for or expect or understand, I think, very early in my pregnancy I was really sick, and what I really didn't understand until it happened was just how my life would get thrown so quickly. And I had this silly notion that I'd have 9 months of sorting that out before I had to worry about it. And it was about week 5 that, for me, I had to completely change how I operated and how my business operated to accommodate that. In retrospect, I think that was a great thing, though, because it meant that when I did have my daughter, I'd already had to sort of let go of the reins a fair bit and change how I was operating. So it made the actual bit once I'd had the baby was actually really delightful. It was the pregnancy and the birth bit that wasn't so grand for me.
Because you're 400 metres away from your home, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
You could hear her cry.
Well, I wasn't at that time, so that's one of the other changes that my husband and I have made in the last couple of years since having London, is we have moved closer to where I work, but at that point I wasn't. I was living a bit further away, but not particularly far. It was still, I used to walk. That was my daily exercise with the baby. She used to scream the whole way up in the pram. It was really awesome. That was better though, because in the car she'd really scream, so it was more peaceful to have her in the pram than in the car. Yeah, all the things that kids do.
Yeah, love it. Now, Clarissa, I am loving your business's name, The Happy Family Lawyer. Now, beforehand, you were trading for a number of years as the Brisbane Family Law Centre. Tell me about how the name change came about.
So I still run the Brisbane Family Law Centre. What happened for me about 2 years ago is I was in a place work-wise where I probably wasn't in the happiest place, and I've always been a little bit unique in terms of my practice of law, particularly when it comes to divorce law. But I was really struggling with, I guess, doing that work and the impact it was having not only on my clients but also on me personally. And I had been involved in a program just for a very short time, the KPI program, or Key Person of Influence. And as a part of that program, they were asking us to really dig deep about what we believed in, particularly in terms of our business life. And it was a Saturday night, quite sadly, and I went home and I just thought, you know, I'm going to start a blog. I had very little idea of what a blog was. I had really no significant business vision. There was no planning in this. I literally just went, I'm going to call myself the Happy Family Lawyer. I think I probably, threw in a couple of other search terms before I fell upon that one. But I paused on that one and I thought, yeah, that works for me, because it's me saying to the world, I am going to be happy doing this work. But probably more importantly, I'm going to do my very best to help the people going through divorce and separation that I'm working with to be in a happy place as well. So it's clearly an oxymoron, but it seems to have really resonated.
I love it. So I want to understand the unhappy place that you were in and that Saturday night when you started blogging, because I've heard this before, where the simple act of blogging can help you find your voice, can help you set direction, can help you get clear on what it is that you have to say and share with the world. It's not uncommon. So what that unhappy place for you was like? Well, you tell me, what was it?
Yeah, it was two parts. So I was in a place in my business where I had a team of probably 13 or 14 people at that point in time. It was a tricky number of people. I had some, apples upsetting apple carts. I was struggling to manage that. And coupled with that, outside of my own practice, I was managing colleagues on the other side of matters. So when you're a lawyer, you're constantly in conflict, whether it be with other colleagues, whether it be with your clients. You're managing conflict all the time.
And the bane of many jokes.
Yeah, I know. We're up there with the used car salesman, I understand. So I really pride myself on really helping people. I know that sounds so stereotypical and sad, but that is very much the bit that drives me in being a lawyer. If I didn't feel that satisfaction in the job, it would be a very hard job to do. And that was very much where I was at that time. I felt like I was really not able to help the people I was working with. In my own practice, my own business, I was thinking, gosh, all this stuff that I've set out to achieve is not happening. And I decided to take some of my own advice, and I'm constantly talking to people about the need to have a positive outlook, the right attitude. When things are challenging, you've got to really try and find the silver linings. And I was sort of sitting there on a Saturday night and I thought, you've got to embrace this yourself. You've got to do it yourself. And the beautiful thing that's come from writing is, you're quite right in the sense that you start expressing yourself and it gives you much more confidence in, or for me anyway, in what I believe in. You start throwing that out into the universe, and then you suddenly find all these people that are wanting to connect with you because they might share those thoughts as well. So it's just made it a much better, happier place for me.
Listeners, I'm speaking with Clarissa Rayward, the Happy Family Lawyer. Before she tells us what she started to blog about, you've got to check this out. Support for this show comes from Key Person of Influence, the world's leading business accelerator program for those wanting to be an industry thought leader. Their 5-step KPI method teaches you how to nail your pitch, publish content, productise your offer, raise your profile, and partner with performers. I asked co-founder Glenn Carlson, what's with the pee fetish?
Oh, yeah, I suppose it is a bit of a fetish, isn't it? Mate, I guess we're just a bit obsessed. Fetishes, obsessions, we're just business geeks, mate. We believe there's never been a better time to be an entrepreneur, and we're all in. We are just all in. And if we find best practices and ideas as a result of what's working for our clients all around the world, we just want to bring it to people. And so far, the best framework that we've found to be able to do that, to really accelerate that entrepreneurial journey in the shortest time, is the 5 Ps. So, mate, get in on the fetish.
KPI, where fetishes rule. For a free hard or audio copy of their Amazon bestseller, visit keypersonofinfluence.com/Timbo. Oh, and a little warning. Don't read it before bed. You just won't sleep. So, Clarissa, let's talk about the blogging. Did you just start freewheel writing? What do they call it when you write just with nothing in mind?
I don't know. I haven't even read those first couple of blogs. The first couple,
right.
I just...
But that's important. That's like, exactly. So here's the thing. There's a whole lot of people wanting to start blogging or podcasting or videoing and going, but what they think is whatever they write or create or video or record, that it's going to have to go live. But clearly you just wanted to write with not even the intention of sharing.
I think they're live. When I say I haven't read them, I mean I haven't read them since I did them. And I know that they're not on topic to what I write now, in the sense that I think my first one was just me saying to the world, I'm going to start writing and this is why and this is what I think. And then I did a few random things about random things. And what's happened over time is the minute I connected my blog to Facebook, and that took me a couple of months to get the courage to do that, I then started to get a community of people that were connecting with that. And then it went from being on my personal Facebook page to suddenly being a Facebook page of its own. And now I write about everything to do with what I call life and love, and particularly falling out of love. And I try and write as if I was talking to a good friend of mine. And generally things are on the topic of separation and divorce and, issues around that, but I don't try and write as a lawyer, and that was a decision I made very early on. There's a lot of people in, I'm sure, many industries, but particularly in the legal industry, doing blogs that are part of their websites. I presume more for SEO than anything, but yeah, the articles that they're writing, that's right, they put me to sleep. They're really complicated, and I think my industry is often about sort of a bit of chest thumping, as I call it, about trying to show that you know more than the people around you. And I didn't want to write for my colleagues. I don't need my colleagues to run my business. I need people. So I wanted to write for people, and I wanted to try and explain and break down complex legal concepts and just make them plain language. And so that's how I write. I try and write once a week. Facebook is a massive part of that in terms of the Facebook page and the ability on Facebook to spread your message very simply and very cheaply, but quite broadly, if that's what you want to do.
I love the fact that you said you write about falling out of love. It's kind of like a theme going through your blogs. Looking at one of your blogs at the moment, beautiful picture of a little girl, 4 ways to support your child during divorce. What you've done is, you're right. You're not answering the legal questions. You're sharing the kind of emotional side of what is a very emotional space that you operate in, and it's a great example. I got an email this morning from the travel insurance company that I'm insured with, and they sent me a link to their blog. It was a general, automatic email that went out to everyone. And what they blog about is the 10 castles in the world that you must visit, the 5 best coffees in Paris, and it's exactly they could blog about travel insurance, but are we going to read it? No. So your editorial mission is really solid. I love it. So let's go back. So you started blogging on that Saturday night after the KPI event. What you have then done is gone, you know what? I've got this new name, the Happy Family Lawyer. That just changes everything, doesn't it, in terms of a mindset going for, you've still got Brisbane Family Law Centre, but I don't quite understand how those two sit alongside each other.
So, I'm a lawyer within the Brisbane Family Law Centre, and I have a personal brand now, is how I describe it, as the Happy Family Lawyer.
Love it.
And it's almost a year and a half, I guess, since I started that random blog that night. And what's happened is the Happy Family Lawyer was a very basic WordPress blog site, and still is right this second. I'm in the process at the moment of converting that, because that concept is becoming a little bit of a sort of business in its own right. And moving forward, that's really where I want to start playing around and trying new things, because as a simple example in Facebook marketing, I've had the Brisbane Family Law Centre Facebook page for, 5 or 6 years. And I've had the Happy Family Lawyer one for a year and a bit. And the engagement on the Happy Family Lawyer Facebook page is massive as compared to the Brisbane Family Law Centre. So one of the things that I've learned is that people are much more interested and engaged with me, the Happy Family Lawyer, than they'll ever be with, Smith & Smith Associates or whatever you want to call your law firm.
But people buy from people.
That's it. And, I much prefer being myself. I much prefer just being Clarissa and talking to the people that are interested in what I have to say and learning from them. I love having guest bloggers on my blog. I love having people talk about their own experience of divorce and separation. And for me, it's certainly taken me to a much happier place because I've got people around me now that are positive, that are uplifting.
It's just this classic example of creating emotion around your business and as a result creating a brand. Brand's an emotional attachment and that's what you've done. And I want to start dissecting your marketing approach because whether you realise it or not, what you're doing is throughout your marketing, you're challenging a lot of your categories, your industry's conventions. In most law firms are called Smith and Smith, like surname, law practice or whatever. You're calling yourself the Happy Family Lawyer. You're creating a personal brand. You have got a logo. Where's the scales of justice? Where are they? They're not there. It's a beautiful. You know what? It almost looks like a jeweler's website or it's beautiful.
Yeah, and the minute I got really comfortable with the fact that I'm not a stereotypical lawyer, the easier the marketing world became for me because I'm just being myself and I thought I like things to look beautiful. So that's what my marketing message is going to be. I'm not going to worry about being conventional or fitting into the usual legal professional mould. And it has really, again, it's worked. It's resonated. People seem to be able to connect with it. I can certainly connect with it. So you're getting my genuine message as opposed to one that's been workshopped over a weekend with some sort of brand gurus.
Yeah, totally. Now, another thing that I know that you've nailed, which many business owners don't nail, is your pitch. In fact, part of this KPI program that you went through, you won their Pitch Fest, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Jeez,
Yeah.
That's no mean feat. Like, round of applause for Clarissa. That is amazing. So, when we get asked, so what do you do when you're out and about, it's a tough question to answer. Previously, you would answer lawyer, family lawyer. That would send potentially people to sleep unless they were going through a separation and had some level of interest. What do you say now?
Now I say I'm Clarissa Rayward. I'm a divorce lawyer and I specialise in helping separating families stay out of the family courts and stay friends because I believe that a divorce can in fact be a positive end to a marriage.
Wow. Nailed. Do you love the fact that you've crystallised that?
Oh, that one thing, being able to do that in one line has been the absolute key to my whole business shift and particularly my marketing shift. And once I was able to just rattle that off and, and say something that I genuinely go, yeah, that is it for me, that is what I do. It's like you can stick that in the little circle in the centre of the page and everything comes out from it. And so when I'm making a decision, for example, someone approached me last week to write for my website. And when I'm looking at that and saying, well, are you the right sort of fit for my website? That's what I'm coming back to. Do you sit within that message of helping people, keeping them out of the family courts, keeping them connected? When I say friends, I mean not necessarily friends that sit down on a weekend and, have coffee together, but friends in the sense that word for me means a respectful relationship. And, I was sort of balancing this person's request to write for me up going, well, actually, no, you're not in that space. You're in a very different space. And so I want to be pure to that message. So, yeah, absolutely, by far, the minute I was able to nail that pitch, everything else has just sort of flown out of it.
Yeah, it does, because one thing that pitch does, it crystallises truly what you do. It identifies a problem, it offers a solution in a really elegant way and in a way that has personality. The good pitches that I hear have personality attached to them. So all of a sudden, you say that to anyone who's doing your marketing, like a designer. I'm sure when you got that design done for the Happy Family Lawyer website, you give them that pitch, they're like, they probably tuned into you much more quickly than if you just said, look, I'm a family lawyer, can you give us a design?
Yeah, that's right. that's absolutely right.
That obviously, is that exactly what happened, is it?
Look, can I give you my little designer tip? What I did
Here we go.
in terms of my designs, I work with a lady by the name of Lauren. And I found her because I had got a quote to do the logos for the Happy Family Lawyer, and it was some exorbitant amount of money in my view anyway. And so I went to the local graphic design school down in Fortitude Valley, not far from my office, and I said, look, I'm looking for a student that probably is either close to finishing or just finishing, and I've got 4 weeks, I think, worth of work that I want them to come into my firm, and I want them to work for me for 4 weeks, and I'll pay them a fixed amount for that 4 weeks worth of work. And so I got sort of 5 or 6 submissions from the design school, and I got the people to do a brochure for me, and I picked Lauren as a result of that. And she came in for 4 weeks, and this was last year, and she pretty much hasn't left, to be honest with you.
Wow.
And it was just amazing. And the most useful thing for me was her being in my office. And I'm sitting in my office talking to you, Tim, but my office, again, is not a conventional law firm. It's very colourful. I've got graffiti all over the walls.
Clarissa, where's the mahogany?
Yeah, there's no mahogany. There's no books. Like, it's out there.
But you're sitting in a big black cloak and a wig, right? Like right now.
No, I'm wearing
you're killing me. You're killing me.
Pink and yellow and black dress. Anyway, I love colour and I love design. So her being in here, she got to see that, and that's what's really flown through into the design work that she's done.
Tell me about the graffiti.
Yeah. So where my office is a place called Albion. It's a little suburb out of the Brisbane city, and it's on a train line. And when my husband and I sort of leased the space, we realised pretty quickly that having tagging done outside our office was going to be a big issue.
Right.
And what I did is I contacted a local art gallery, and they sent up 3 of their guys who are graffiti artists.
Yep.
And they did these 2 big murals, one in my boardroom and one in my reception, and they're just bold and colourful and...
What do they say? The words or pictures?
No, the pictures. The one in the front's got this like giant, I don't know, weird-looking Martian-type person and random things. The one in the boardroom's got a big polar bear and some trains, and they've got no meaning at all. They're just big, bold images. But it turns out there's a code of conduct almost within the graffiti community. So because I've got these guys who are really well respected within that community that have professionally done my walls, my building doesn't get tagged.
Man, you are in the inner circle.
It's like really cool. But it also means that people walk past out the front and go, oh my God, what is that place? And clients coming into my office also have that sort of experience of, oh, what is this place? But it's also, for me anyway, and what I was trying to achieve was a sense of home and comfort, because the people coming to see me are talking about some really personal and often distressing things. And I didn't want 4 cold walls full of mahogany and books. I wanted comfortable. I wanted relaxed. I wanted, a little bit of life and a bit of colour.
Okay, so I want to keep dissecting some more of the marketing you're doing, but you did hit on a point. This is really interesting. As I said before we hit record, I've been on hold this morning to insurance companies, right? Had a bit of a flooding issue in the house over the weekend, and I'm on hold, right? And my mindset right now is that I just want to get this stuff fixed. I'm a bit annoyed about it all, and I'm not in a good frame of mind about the repairs I need to get done to my home quickly, right? But they're playing this wacky music while I'm on hold, and it's not matching my mindset. Like it's actually making me angry. Okay, so my point is, you've got people coming into your rooms who are distraught.
Yeah.
They are at the very end, potentially. They're just like, what, is it worth going on? It's a very sad space you operate in. They come into your rooms, here's this happy-go-lucky graffiti, here's this wacky lawyer who's not in a black robes and wig. What happens there? Do they look at you and go and walk out again? Or
well, no, they don't. And I think there's the 2 main ways people come to see me are through personal referrals and then through my website. And so I consider both of those a bit of a gatekeeping process. My website, again, is not a particularly standard, typical legal website. That's both the Happy Family Lawyer one and also the website for Brisbane Family Law Centre. I've invested very heavily in video and in resources. So I like to think that by the time a person's actually made an appointment and come in to see me, they've probably got a pretty good sense of the type of firm that my firm is and the type of lawyer that I and the people working with me are. So it's pretty rare that someone would literally walk in the door and go, I'm out of here. They've been screened, if that's the right word. Like there's a particular type of client that I'm looking for. That's, again, one of the advantages of working out your pitch and really understanding the people that I want to work with and that would want to work with me. Someone wanting to, cause a lot of grief to their ex-spouse, they're not going to work well with me. I'm not going to work well with them. And to be frank, I'll be telling them head off.
You had to do that?
Yeah, I have.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm very comfortable doing that because.
What's it sound like? I'm that person. Let's do a bit of a role play.
Yeah.
I'm going, you know what? I am going to get my wife if it's the last thing I do.
And, well, I'd start with that. Let's imagine you say that to me. It would go on for an hour of me saying things to you like, well, Tim, tell me what that looks like for you. Why is that important to you? How do you see that will help you in the future? How do you see that will help your kids in the future? And if you're still not shifting, because it's pretty normal that people will come in with a sense of fear, and our fear response is often to say, I just want to go to court, I want to take them for all they're worth. They're sort of standard things I hear all the time. But if after I've really worked with you and you're still saying that stuff, it'll be very simple. Tim, you know what? I've listened to you for an hour and I'm actually not certain that I'm the right lawyer for you. If you'd like some help in giving, I can give you some referrals, but I've done enough of this work now to know that I'm probably not going to be the right person for you.
Yeah, and then I'm like,
simple.
but.
Yeah, I really want you.
Yeah. I love the graffiti. Yeah, okay. I'm loving it. I'm loving your marketing, Clarissa. Can I just ask, do you realise it sort of feels like getting the name and the blog started, all your marketing fell into place and it wasn't that planned. Now you just kind of entered this slipstream of it just coming together.
Completely. Yeah, I describe it as a bit of a snowball. What I put that to is that I'm just being myself. I love Facebook. I've always loved Facebook in my own, personal life, and I really enjoy it. So it's a key part of my marketing because I enjoy it. I understand it. It doesn't faze me. I've just started to sort of work on Instagram as my second social media outlet, and I'm learning that one, and it's a bit harder for me. So I can tell it's not as innate. I'm not as comfortable there. I don't go there as regularly, but I'm trying to test myself a bit.
So what are you doing within Facebook?
So I set up the Facebook page for the Happy Family Lawyer, and I do pay for page likes, but a pretty minimal amount. And I use my blogging, so my blogs go across there.
Pay for page likes, do you mean when you post something, you boost it?
I do that, but I also have a constant running ad for page likes.
Gotcha.
So that sits and that just runs, and I think that costs me $5 a day or something similar. When I do boost my blog, so when I blog once a week, I will pay to boost that. And I've experimented a lot with different amounts and different periods, and what I've worked out is about $40 lately has been giving me about a 10,000 people reach.
Nice.
And $40 over one sort of 24-hour period.
Yeah, right.
And I do it that way. And certainly as I've got a community now of about 3,000 people on that Facebook page. So as the community's grown, the reach has significantly grown.
Do you reckon that's 3,000 people who, because you can't go one day we'll need a family lawyer but is that 3,000 people who need a family lawyer right now?
What it seems to be, and what's interesting is it's a really engaged community. So I said I've got the Brisbane Family Law Centre page and I've got the Happy Family Lawyer page. The Brisbane Family Law Centre page, you're hard to get 4 likes on some silly photo. Yeah. And really the people liking that page, from what I can tell, are my competitors that are interested in seeing what I'm doing. On the Happy Family Lawyer page, it's people that either are going through separation and divorce, have gone through separation and divorce. A lot of them are family lawyers all around the world that are connecting with what I'm up to, because what I seem to have also done is opened up a dialogue in my profession for people that share a view like mine, want to be doing this work a bit better. So there's a lot of my colleagues on that page that are constantly interacting. There's a lot of people that are working in the space. So there's a lot of counsellors, for example.
And I don't think we should undervalue. Sometimes it's like we think marketing's all about bringing in new business,
Yeah, no.
But there's this other, when you create the kind of marketing that you're doing and the brand that you've created around yourself, other weird stuff, other great stuff happens. And if that means you becoming an opinion leader in your industry amongst your colleagues, then that leads to media. You've done some great media. You had some wonderful media coverage. And let's talk about some other marketing, because we could. I'm looking at the time and going, wow, we could. Let's keep going for another 3 hours. But I'm sure as a lawyer, you've got the clock on, and I'm about to get an invoice. But so tell me, loving your book. So part of your KPI journey, this Key Person of Influence course, is that they have a publishing. What would you call it? Chapter? No, it's not. Well, kind of, yeah. Publishing section where you work with old Andrew Griffiths, and you've got a book, Splitsville: How to Separate, Stay Out of Court, and Stay Friends. What has that done for your business?
That's been particularly helpful. That's my understatement of the year.
Really?
Last week is the classic example. I ended up being invited to go on Channel 9's morning show, not to be confused with Channel 7's The Morning Show. I had no idea that they both had shows that were almost called the same thing. Anyway, so I was interviewed by Tina Sparkle, as I like to call her, and David Campbell about my book. And I mean, again, as a small business owner, what an amazing opportunity to be on national television and be interviewed about your book. And without a book, clearly, I wouldn't have had that opportunity to be on national television.
A direct line result from being now a published author to being on national TV?
Yeah, because I literally sent my book to the producers at Channel 9 with a bit of a targeted release and a letter and this is who I am and this is what I'm doing, and they just emailed me. I was sitting in my office on a Thursday morning and got an email from Channel 9 producers saying, would you like to come on our show on Monday? I thought, if I respond too quickly, do I look too desperate? So I think I waited for about 4 minutes. Said, yes, please.
But here's the thing, and I know it's big, and it is big, but the media's got a lot of space to fill,
Yeah.
We podcasters, national TV shows, newspapers, magazines, they've got to fill the column centimetres, they've got to fill the time, and they are looking for opinion leaders and thought leaders, and having that book, they're going to. I would not be surprised now if you're on that list for when they need an opinion around family law, they're going to go to Clarissa, the happy family lawyer.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that's obviously a big part of what Andrew Griffiths talks about when he's talking about the value in publishing. And I can, attest to that, not only with my book, but with my blog. It's the same thing. It's all, the minute you start putting your thoughts out into the world in a way that people can actually go, oh, that's interesting, that's cool. It is the snowball thing that I spoke about before, where everything just sort of leads to somewhere, and it's fascinating.
You've got a whole lot of other things going on. The last thing I just want to kind of dissect is these educational videos that you're doing. You said you're doing quite a few. I found 6 on your website. Is that right? Is this a new strategy that you're kind of starting to lean into?
On the Brisbane Family Law Centre website, there's probably a lot more than sitting on the Happy Family Lawyer one at the moment. A good friend of yours, who's a good friend of mine, John Hollenberg's in the process of redoing my website at the moment because it's still the $105 WordPress investment. So I apologise to any of your listeners. My Happy Family Lawyer site is pretty basic, but the advantage in that is there's no excuse because it's the $105 site, so anyone can do it.
Correct.
Right now I'm in the process of having John turn it into something far more glamorous. In terms of video, I over the last 12 months have really invested heavily in video. So on my Brisbane Family Law Centre site you will see a lot more video, but there's a lot in my little back pocket here that I'm yet to release. And one of the things I did is I work with a group up here in Brisbane called Goliath Corporate, who are a young group of guys that run a great video business. I've worked with them for the year. They're amazingly creative. They came in for me one afternoon, one Saturday. We sat here and we filmed 40 videos in one day. And they're all about a minute long. I haven't popped them on my website so much, but I use them heaps on social media. So generally once a week on my Facebook page, you will see a video, which is normally me giving a sort of 90-second short tip on something to do with that concept again of separation, falling out of love, working with family lawyers, whatever it is. And video for me has just been such, again, a great way of engaging with people. People know who I am. I was in court the other day doing something and a lady pulled me over as I walked out and she looked at me and she said, "Are you the happy family lawyer?"
Brilliant.
I said, "Yeah, I am." She
Yep.
said, "Oh, I follow your stuff online," and that's how they know who I am, because I'm that silly girl sitting there on their silly phone, talking to them about what's going on and what I suggest they do anyway.
Why haven't you put those 40 videos on your website? What are you waiting for?
John's doing that at the moment.
Clarissa, get them on there.
No, it's happening. It's happening. Well, I also didn't want to put 40 out at once.
No, you don't have to. You can put them up on the...
So they go out sort of once a week generally.
Yeah, right. You can put them up on your website or in one hit, and then you could share them if you've got an email list. Have you got an email list?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then share them individually to that email list over the next 40 weeks. That's kind of, because I think if you put them on Facebook or YouTube, which you should, but you'd want to be linking back to your website, because once you've got people on YouTube or Facebook, they're watching cats fall off ladders before you know it, they've left you. Yeah. So I love that. So 40 videos. Do you mind if I asked what you spent getting 41-minute videos done?
Yeah. No. Well, we actually did 50 videos in the end, because we also did a whole series of staff videos at the same time in here, and the cost to me was about $3,000.
Yeah.
So for me, it was a really reasonable investment. I know a lot of people are using iPhones and doing them themselves. My brand, I wanted a certain quality. I didn't want to be sitting there with an iPhone, so I wanted that quality. And for me, that investment has been so worthwhile in terms of the marketing.
Yeah. Start with your iPhone. Absolutely. Just get going.
Yeah.
What do I say? Production over perfection. But you'll get to a point where you go, you know what? This video stuff works, or this audio stuff works. And that's when you bring in, the big guns. And you do stuff a little bit more professionally, but getting started is everything. Hey, Clarissa, I got to say, love it. Just a really, really solid marketing discussion. I know everyone listening to this too is thinking the same thing, because, you just made that, you flicked that switch that Saturday night, changed, chose a personal brand name, started blogging, found your voice, and, guess what? Marketing starts to fall into place.
Yeah.
Love it. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, team, do you love it? Oh, I love bringing you great stories of business owners that are just doing really good marketing. Now, I want to share my top 3 learnings, but before I do that, remember that was brought to you by the very good folk at Key Person of Influence. And remember to hit Clarissa up on Twitter at Clarissa Rayward, and her website is thehappyfamilylawyer.com.au in case you need it. So, my top 3 learnings. Number 1, start blogging as a way to find your voice. Just pretend you're writing to a friend. What great advice that is. Number 2, consider creating a personal brand to sit alongside your business brand. I love how Clarissa may run and work at the Family Law Centre, but she's positioning herself as the happy family lawyer. Great idea. Number 3 learning, thanks to the guys at KPI, challenge the conventions of your category. If you do the same as everyone else, you'll end up the same as... fill in the gap, everyone else. Clarissa does this with a great name, great logo, graffiti in her rooms. That's crazy, isn't it? An amazing pitch, a book called Splitsville. Boy, oh boy, don't you love marketing that just challenges the category, flips the current conventions 180 degrees. Well, there you go, team. That's the end of that. Not the end of the show. Plenty more to go, but I would love to know what you've got to say about that interview. Go over to the show notes at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com and look for episode 249. Joseph Pearce once said, "To live a creative life, we must lose our fear of being wrong."
Get on Timbo's mailing list over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com.
So let's have a little check-in before we wrap things up. I hope you've had a good week. I normally do this at the top of the show, but I just wanted to get you that interview. It was too good to hold on to till the back of the show. Now, I hope you've had a good week. I have had a ripper. Thank you. Thank you to the 19 listeners that left comments in the show notes for the John Maher interview. Oh, golden. I know I rattled on in that episode about I wish you'd leave more comments. You listened, some of you. Maybe I've got more than 19 listeners. I don't know. But those who did, love it. Plus, there was a number of listeners who referred John to their kids' school. John was the fellow who lost his daughter in a tragic car accident and is now has a passion business spreading the word of road safety. I do love you leaving. I love it when you leave comments in the show notes. So make a point every time you listen to the show, head over to smallbusinessbigmarketing.com and leave me a comment. Links back to your website. Hey, as I said, coaching spots are full. Amazing, hashtag amazing. So grateful for those who took me on as part of their marketing team. We are going to rock the world. Once I bed those guys down, I may take on more, so keep listening out for that. Best place is to sign up over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. Get on my list and you'll be the first to know, or actually forum members will be the first to know. Hey, I don't know, why I do those funny voices every now and then? Just kind of like it. As I post this, I'll be in Fiji speaking to a group of lawnmower shop owners for Husqvarna. Looking forward to that. Got 2 full days of speaking. Big forum news coming up. Can't tell you what it is, but geez, it's big and exciting and is going to take the inner circle of the Small Business Big Marketing Show to a whole nother level. I hope to be able to reveal what that is in the next couple of weeks. Hey, I'm listening to Chili Peppers, by the way. Completely unrelated, but I'm loving the Red Hot Chili Peppers at the moment. Just finished Anthony Kiedis' book biography. He's the lead singer and just pumping the tunes in the car. Anyway, I'm rattling. We'll wrap that little check-in up right now.
Welcome to Small Business Marketing Show.
Plenty of marketing gold coming up in the coming weeks. Next week, episode 250. I'm not going to make a song and dance about that. Pretty proud of that, though. And I am going to take you on a trip down memory lane as we visit some of the older shows. Just the little gold nuggets from some of the older shows that I'm just going to pick at random. Plus, I've got a chat coming up with a fella whose life purpose is to make women happy. Good luck with that. Grab your free copy of the KPI book, the Amazon bestseller. You can get a free hard copy or audio copy over at keypersonofinfluence.com/Timbo. Welcome, guys. I'm so rapt to have you guys on board. If you're serious about taking your marketing to the next level, join the forum over at Crank My Marketing. If you want me to speak at a conference, head over to timreid.com.au. Oh, it's just, the self-promotion. Enough. Until next week, I'm Timbo Reid. Always have been, always will be. May your marketing be the best marketing. Bye for now.